Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Wednesday edition of Inside the 20 with myself and Keith Niebuhr. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3, joined as always and by Mr. Keith Niebuhr. Keith, how about you today, big dog?
I'm good, man. I'm sorry. I had to go do some errands this morning, so I'm in my car. But Jeff, that's a great segue to our advertiser. I'm in the car, a Ford Bronco 2022. So let's go to our advertiser.
Well, you know what? And I thought about this the other day.
Yeah.
We don't advertise people we don't truly believe in, right? I mean,
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't,
No
right?
doubt. No doubt.
We use these products, and Sir Keith is certainly using his product from Caleb Schofield, Mike Patton Auto in LaGrange, Georgia. Folks, if you're looking for a car, new or used, Caleb is the man to call. Auburn fan supports us. We appreciate him. Give Caleb a call, 334-531-0996. Keith, he's still got couple of 2 4-door Broncos in stock, black one and that cactus gray you like so much. He's also got a brand new all-electric Ford Lightning F-150 in stock. Give him a call. Those things are rare. He's also got new Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Honda. Fantastic used car lot. All those used cars pass a multi-point inspection before they even think about selling them. And they also back those used cars with free 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty. All the new cars come with a free lifetime powertrain warranty, unlimited time, unlimited miles. If you don't need a car, but you know somebody who does, send them to Caleb, and he'll send you $300. Caleb Schofield, Mike Patton Auto in LaGrange, Georgia, 334-531-0996. Keith, we've been talking about this 2024 class, getting the momentum started for this 2024 class, and understandably so. But you know, I was looking back at the 2023 class, and I really want us to go back. We talked about it, and let's give our overall grade. I mean, there's guys on here that I've forgotten about. Looking at the 2023 class, Auburn's still 21 high school, junior college recruits, 12 transfers, a group that's considered the number 17 class in the country, according to the On3 consensus. Keith, the only thing I don't like is top 20 class, no doubt about it, but eighth in the SEC.
Well, yeah, you know, I guess the thing you'd say, okay, it was great that they did such great work to finish this class off, and they did a lot of big flips, and we'll talk about them in a minute. And we've talked about them extensively before, but it still shows how much work.
Yeah.
How much work they have to be done. Sorry, somebody literally just about hit me here.
Get out of the left lane, man.
Yeah, I'm not driving. I'm parked. Yeah, it shows how much work is still to be done. And they know that. Hugh Freeze has talked a lot in the last few weeks about playing catch up. You know, how far behind Auburn was, how depleted the roster was. So on the one hand, it's great. Look, a lot of great work done. On the other hand, hey, this is still just step one, right? This is step one. A year from now, it should look better, the overall picture. In 2 years, if things go as planned, should be more on plane with your arch rivals, you know, getting closer.
Yeah, you know, considering the situation he walked into and what the options were for him to finish out that 2023 class, fantastic, unbelievable job of getting these guys in the transfer portal, flipping some high school kids, adding some JUCO guys. Fantastic job by Hugh Freeze. Keith, let's break it down by position, man. Let's start on the defense, man. Let's start on the defense. I'm going defensive line here. I don't know where these kids are going to project. If you're, 5, 7, 3, all this crap. So I'm just looking at defensive linemen, and I'm going to give you the names of the defensive line signees.
Okay, and we should point out, like, this is everything. High school, JUCO, portal. This is everything together.
The 2023 class. The 2023 defensive line class consists of Keldrick Falk, Wilkie Denaud, Brenton Williams, Steven Johnson, Deron Reed, Quintrell Travis, Justin Rogers, Elijah McAllister, Nasili Kite, and Lawrence Johnson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 defensive linemen, Keith, and all from all ranks, from high school, JUCO, and transfer portal. You like this group?
Oh, yeah. So I give this group a B+, a good solid B+. I know we don't just throw around A's, okay?
I agree.
B+, maybe A-, but it's solid. Now, what would keep it from being a straight A? We don't know if there's that one Derek Brown type, right? That really elevates you. But overall, you've got quantity. You got the numbers, like you just said. You got quality at the high school level, and you certainly have quality. Well, the high school level, obviously, Keldrick Falk, an All-American Bowl participant. Deron Reed, an All-American Bowl participant. Falk, to me, is the guy with maybe the highest upside of anybody in this entire class. And then you have the guys that you brought in, the transfers you brought in. I just think I'm just looking at it again. I think that you've got enough people, enough parts to say that this area, which by the way has not been a strength at Auburn the last 2 years, for the first time in recent memory, Jeffrey, the D line was not what we were accustomed to as people covering the program and is what fans have been accustomed to. But now this should be the group that can get this unit, this part of the Auburn team headed back in the right direction. So I love what I've seen here. You've got guys that can play multiple positions. You've got talented guys. You've got guys that are proven, and then you've got young guys with a world of upside. So it's got a little bit of everything other than maybe just that, like I said, that Montravius Adams, Carl Lawson, Derek Brown type. Yet we don't know. And somebody could develop into that, but in terms of what we know. So great. Absolutely love it. Huge boost to the Auburn program. It's a B+ for me.
I agree. I've got it B+, A-. The reason I give it an A, and I tend to lean more towards A- because I love Keldrick Falk. I love Deron Reed. I love those two high school guys. Then you throw in a Quintrell Travis, kind of a run stuffer from JUCO. And then I loved the transfer portal, Justin Rogers, Elijah McAllister, and the Silly Kite, Lawrence Johnson. You got 3 different tiers here and some really good players at both. I agree with you there. So I wouldn't argue B+. I'm going to throw in A- just because I love Keldrick Falk and I love Deron Reed. Without those two guys, I think it's a solid B. But with one, it's a B+. But with both of those All-American high school kids, I'm going to go with A-.
Well, and how about this? How about I add in B+ with the potential we may look back in 2 years and say, oh no, it was an A.
Oh yeah.
Because if Keldrick Falk and Deron Reed become what we think they can become, and then some of the transfers, in the Sealy Kite, for instance, if he takes that next step, now that was a guy that was preseason All Big Ten. So if he takes that next step and becomes a draft pick type, then you say, okay, well, it was better than a B+, Keith. It was an A. So B+, potential to be an A.
Staying in that front 7, but moving back a level on defense. The linebacker group, Auburn signed Demario Tolan, flipped him from LSU. I'm sorry.
Well,
both transfer guys flipped him from LSU, and then got Austin Keith from Ole Miss. 2 guys, Keith, needed more.
That's right. Needed more. Now in Keys, you've got a proven commodity, so you like that. He's SEC West ready. Tolan did play a good bit as a true freshman at LSU, but obviously Keys has a lot more experience. I think Tolan probably has the higher upside of the two. But Keys has been there, done that. Is there a star? Is there a bona fide star among those two? We don't know. And obviously, look, if it was just 2 high school guys and they were 5 stars, you'd say, well, we don't know either, Keith. But based on numbers, based on recruiting rankings, based on productivity, out of a transfer, you do know a little bit more. I think it's probably a B-. C. I don't want to say C+. It doesn't feel like a C+. Look, both these guys, these may be 2 starters, Jeffrey. So I'd say B- only because is there a superstar? That's what would get you the A+. And then 2, you needed more, I think.
Yeah.
I think you needed one more body. Well, you say, oh, that's only one more body. Well, if you have 2, and I mean, the difference between 2 and 3 actually is significant in percentages. So, but look, it's not bad. I think it's going to be, I think these guys are very serviceable, and Tolan, in fact, could end up being a really good player. Yeah, look, Keys will too. He's just a little bit more down the line.
Completely
he's
agree.
Older.
I completely agree with it. I had B- to C+ on mine. Yeah. I love Demario. I think he's a star, a future star. I really do. I think Keys is going to be a guy with experience to come in, a guy you had to have. But I don't see a lot of benefits without the numbers. I think
where's the Zacoby McClain?
Needs some more. So I've got it B-, C+.
Okay.
I'll probably my first thought was B-, but looking at the numbers, I think Demario is a future star. I think Austin Keys is a serviceable linebacker with a lot of SEC West experience, with a guy Auburn had to have. So B-, C+ looks good to me. Defensive back, man, this is where Auburn really loaded up. Kayan Lee, 4-star. Terrence Love, 4-star. Sylvester Smith, 4-star. Tyler Scott, 4-star. Colton Hood. Did he end up a 4-star?
He did.
Damn, really? And then C.J. Johnson, all those cats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 high school kids, 6 high school 4-star defensive backs. Am I forgetting anybody? You flipped Ohio State. You flipped Tennessee. You beat Texas for Tyler Scott.
Yeah. No, I think there wasn't anything out of the portal.
Correct.
There wasn't anything out of the portal, but you've got the main guys. And I love this group. I love this group because I feel like you've got – in Tyler Scott, I don't feel like the ranking matches up with who wanted him, right?
The offers.
Everybody was after the guy. And you beat Texas and USC, 2 schools that easily finished in the top 10 of the recruiting rankings. I think maybe even top 5. I got to have to look that up. But so who did you beat? Kay and Lee, you flipped from Ohio State, which has a history of putting DBs in the NFL. Colton Hood was a big addition. I just feel like across the board, that's a good, solid. Now where is there a Carlton Davis? I don't know. I love this area though, and I'm going to say A-.
Okay. I've got it as a solid A. I love those 6 high school kids, all heavily recruited, all highly coveted among some top programs. I think Crime Dog and Zach put a hell of a list together and may not be done, man. They love some defensive backs.
And we have to say, in what I'm factoring into my rankings too, like, so on the D-line, I don't know Jeremy Garrett enough, the D-line coach. I haven't followed him enough to know are all his guys going to be hits, what percentage. Like with Rodney Garner, we knew, okay, these are the guys he's put in the NFL, it's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But with Zach Etheridge and Wesley McGriff, they've got a track record. We know they've had hits. We know who their hits are. We know who their misses are. We know why they missed on guys, and we know why they hit on guys and what they look for. And their track record is so solid. And Auburn's got such a great history of taking high 3-stars and low 4-stars and turning them into NFL DBs that I feel very good about this.
Keith, if Tony Mitchell signs with Auburn, do you see a group of A+?
Yeah. That to me, that would get it to an A.
Okay.
All right. Got it to an A.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Let's flip the script on the sides of the ball. Let's go to offense, man. Offensive line is Xavier Miller, Connor Liu, Clay Whedon, Braden Joyner, Tyler Johnson, Avery Jones, Dylan Wade, and Gunnar Britton.
All right. So you want to know what an A looks like? That's an A. And here's why. You got okay, so in that group, is there an Anthony Munoz? I don't know, okay? I don't know if there's a future Hall of Famer, but what I know is we're also factoring needs and needs met. And I feel like in the portal, Auburn got 3 starters, okay? In Gunnar Britton, Dylan Wade, and Avery from East Carolina. So maybe your 2 tackles and your center, and was it Britton that they said could play inside?
Yep.
So that would then allow you to move Xavier Miller into a potential starting role if he, in fact, is one of your best 5 guys. Then at the high school level, you got Connor Liu, who we think is going to be maybe a 3-year type starter at center. Braden Joyner is going to be a valuable guy that can play center or guard. Clay Whedon is a guy, a little bit more of a project type, but a guy that's got the piece of clay. I really like what they've done mainly here through the portal because addressing immediate needs and guys that are going to be, we think, really good right away. Like right away. It's what you absolutely positively needed to have. And so to me, and I guess a lot of people would say, well, this isn't that dissimilar from the defensive line, and you only gave them a B+. But the offensive line, they were down to 7 or 8 scholarship offensive linemen looking for up to 4 starters maybe. Heck, maybe 5. I don't know. We don't know how the other old guys are going to fit in with the new staff. So we think they have solidly found 3 starters, day 1 starters out of the portal. And so to me, that's an A.
Completely agree. I've actually got it as 4 starters. Either way, the majority I think Xavier Miller. I think Avery Jones, Dylan Wade, Gunnar Britton. I think those 4 guys will be on the field come September. And even if not, even if it's just 3, you still found the majority of your starting offensive line out of the transfer portal. And I love Connor Lew. I'm like you, dude. 3-year starter easily. Just from what I've heard from people that I trust that know a lot more about it than I do. Connor Lew is a future star at Auburn. Definitely as far as meeting needs, numbers. I love this group. Solid A for me. I'm sorry, A minus. I had an A minus. Okay. So fantastic job there on both sides of the lines of scrimmage with Auburn. Let's move it back. The running back. Jeremiah Cobb, 4-star signed with Auburn. Batty.
Brian Batty.
That's it.
We haven't met him. We haven't been able to interview him, so we haven't been able to ask him. And I don't believe anybody's put out a pronunciation chart for us.
I interviewed him, and I walked up and I was like, "Yeah, Batty here," and he didn't correct me.
Oh well, there you go. Then you might be right there.
I think it is Batty.
I like these 2 guys. I know you do too.
I love. Listen, you signed the best running back you could have gotten out of the high school, right? You signed your in-state kid from Montgomery, 4-star guy, averages I don't know over 2,000 yards the last 3 years. Mr. Football, what Gatorade Player of the Year, home run, A right there. Now, to me, Brian Batty is the best you could have done in the portal, and here's why, Keith. I'm not saying he's the best player. Yeah. I'm saying you're not going to get this guy. You're not going to get this 2-year starter here because of the depth chart at Auburn. You're just not going to get him. You need a guy, and I think Batty is the perfect guy that you could have gotten. I mean, and on top of that, he's going to be your kick returner. He's going to be your punt returner, or at least your kick returner, right? All-American freshman kick returner. So I think Auburn did the best they could have done at running back in high school and in the transfer portal.
Yeah. So you're saying solid A?
I think so. A minus at the lowest.
Okay, I'm going to go A minus, and I love these 2 guys. I mean, Jeremiah Cobb, he's got to wait his turn a little bit, but a lot of potential, super speed. He's got the acceleration. He can crank it up a notch when he needs to. You watch his video. Not a ton of waggle, but when he feels somebody coming up behind him, all of a sudden he finds that extra gear. Mm-hmm. And then Batty, a guy that's been there and done that at a program that quite frankly isn't that good or hasn't been that good. And they really did rely on him a lot. He was one of the big threats for them. So everybody they played knew that if he could stop that guy, they didn't have much else. So I like that he's, now he's going to be able to be one of many pieces of an offense. And then obviously the fact that he's, a high level kick returner or has been in the past, then that gives Auburn some real flexibility. Okay. Jarquez Hunter has returned kicks. Well, if he doesn't need to do that anymore, that's less mileage on him. That's more focus he can put on being the A running back, the number 1 running back on the team. But he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's quick. He's a home run threat. So yes, I like both these guys. Good, solid A minus.
And I like Batty better than I liked Dylan Johnson, the running back from Mississippi State, in this setting. Yeah. I think Auburn's grade with me is higher with Batty and Cobb than it would have been with Dylan Johnson and Cobb.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little torn on that. I mean, I think he's more of a home run threat, and he also gives you that added versatility with special teams returns. Johnson was just such a great pass catcher, but I wouldn't argue. I wouldn't argue with you. I wouldn't argue.
All right, wide receiver going to need some help here.
Are we gonna do wide receivers and tight end together?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's
do that.
I don't know. It's up to you.
That's fine. I forgot. I got Rivaldo Fairweather at tight end, Nick Martiner at wide receiver, DeQuavius Story at wide receiver. We'll do them at the same time, if nothing else. Keith.
Okay.
What do you got here?
Well, if you put them together, probably B minus, which isn't bad, by the way. The receivers just haven't been great at Auburn the last few years. Now, what we don't know was it the offense? Was it they didn't have anybody to get them the ball? I mean, you know what I mean? I don't want to be too hard on them. In other words, it seemed like there was a big need there. But maybe the coaching staff doesn't see that there's as big of a need in recruiting. Story's got some real potential. He can high point the ball. He can make a lot of things happen. Martiner, I don't know much about. I think can be a valuable depth piece, though. Big red zone guy. Same with Story. Big red zone guy can go up and get the ball. To me, from that group, Fairweather is the prize. He's everything that Hugh Freeze and Ken Austin and Philip Montgomery, what they want in a tight end, a guy that can stretch the field. And he would fit into just about any college offense, quite frankly. So there's your big play at the tight end position. That's been look. I love John Samuel Schenker, but he wasn't gonna break off too many 45-yard receptions. Great player, by the way. Sure. So I think he gives you that, and so good. B minus, just because you really, and this is no fault of this staff. They getting in so late, but you really want to see Auburn in this next cycle go out and get some real difference makers at receiver. I don't know whether they just got that or not. We'll see, maybe.
Yeah.
But on paper, I don't know that Sorey had a ton of the elite programs after him when it counted.
I've got him and Martiner as a C+. I've got Fairweather as an A-.
There you go.
So they're B- as a group, but I would like to see some more wide receivers. But I understand it was difficult for Auburn without a quarterback to pitch to them. Speaking of quarterbacks, Keith, last position of the day, Hank Brown, committed to Auburn, flipped from Liberty. Hugh Freeze must like him.
Yeah, I wish we would have put him in. Now that I think about it, if we could go back in time 30 minutes ago, I wish we could have put the running backs and the quarterbacks together for backfield. Because our grade, only because our grade for Hank Brown's not going to be great. Let's be honest. And that's out of no disrespect to him. But, he basically, he didn't have a ton of the bigger programs after him. So that's kind of like where you're thinking, okay, well, what were they missing in him? He played at a high-profile program. He put up big numbers. He won a state title. So he had the exposure. So what did the big schools of the world not see? So that's kind of the thing that gives you a little cause for concern. The flip side of that is the two guys that did see a lot in him were his high school coach, who's now the head coach at UAB, Trent Dilfer, former NFL quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback, Super Bowl quarter. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl, didn't he? Played there. And then Hugh Freeze and Ken Austin, obviously, who, look, I mean, I'll tell you what, even if you're not a Hugh Freeze fan, it's hard to question his coaching quarterback acumen, right? So C+.
I hear you.
And again, I just Hugh says, hey, look, this guy's I know what I'm doing. This guy's got the tools. So you want to give him a higher grade, but I just can't get it out of my head that why weren't more schools lining up for this guy? And maybe they're all missing out, by the way.
That's fair, man.
And I hope so, because when you interview him, he's a super smart kid.
Yeah.
And he's really confident. And, so I hope that I'm dead ass wrong on this one.
I'm not grading Hank. I'm grading the position. I would have liked to seen Auburn get a quarterback in, transfer portal kid in from for the spring. That didn't happen. You got a Hank Brown, who for all I know, is a 5-star. I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm not grading him as saying he's a C. I'm grading the position overall. They got a high school quarterback that Hugh Freeze wanted, but they didn't get a transfer portal quarterback for the spring. So I've got it as a C.
Yeah, me too. And I should clarify that. That's, we're grading the position.
Right.
And I just knew it would look like I'm criticizing Hank Brown. So I still have it as a C+. So I actually have him higher than you. So yeah, that's good. But yeah, I mean, they have to, the QB room has to get better. They have to get a quarterback, unless these guys just go out and light it up this spring, and give Hugh Freeze and Ken Austin and Jesse Stone and Philip Montgomery the feeling that, hey, we don't need to go out and get a star now. But my gut and your gut says they still want to bring in a guy that's either going to be the starter or certainly is darn sure going to push for the starting job. So that combined with what I said about Hank Brown, or why I have it at a C+. So
overall class, Keith, at this point, we know they're going to try to add some guys after spring, but right now your overall class is?
Well, overall class, including the portal, again, because just the high school class, it's only 17th. That's a B- in the SEC. You throw in the portal, I think it's a good, solid B+.
Okay.
Is there a superstar? I don't know. Maybe Dylan Wade's that guy. Maybe Lawrence Johnson's that guy. Maybe the quarterback, if they bring in a quarterback like we think they probably will, maybe that's the guy. But I think it's a good, solid B+. Quality, quantity, and a hell of a lot of needs addressed.
Completely agree. I've got it B+, and with the potential to get over that bump and get into the A after spring. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens, man. But we'll have to throw the flag today. But it was good stuff, Keith. I liked breaking down this class. I'm sure our listeners did as well. Hey, folks, we appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody watching. For Keith, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay at that left lane. See ya.